I know that you're ready for your next level, and in this video, I'm going to break down the game-changing messaging tweaks that my clients have been making that have been allowing them to attract higher paying clients, higher quality clients, convert them quicker, and clients that they actually love, want to clone, talk to over and over again with these types of sales messaging strategies. Let's go ahead and get into it.
That resulted in a six-figure contract for us for administrative support. And so I'm super excited about that.
Oh my goodness, how does that feel for you?
It's surreal.
Really?
It is very surreal because it wasn't an area or market that I originally thought to kind of exploit or go into. And now that I see that it's a very possible and real thing, I've completely revamped like our language and messaging to speak to those people. And so I am going to go after that market very heavily.
Perfect. So, one, I just want to say congrats. I love this for you. There is not a doubt, right, for you on this. I'm super excited for you, your team, and your company. And what I love is when we have an elevated client, it instantly invites us to think about, wait a minute, where have I not been talking to this person? I know that you are ready to unlock this next level of clients and cash that you're wanting to call in, and you have a super high value expertise, a service, an offer, coaching, consulting, speaking. You have thought leadership that more of the world needs, and they need to be paying more for, like 2 times what you charge right now, or probably 4 times what you charge right now. So in this video, I'm going to share with you some of the breakthroughs that my clients have been able to have, and I'm going to share with you how you can make sure that you start to implement these into your sales messaging. So I'm going to actually break them down so that you are focused on implementation, because y'all know I always say information without implementation means nothing. So you heard Gwen mention targeting more premium, better clients, right? Selling higher premium offers. Let's talk about that. Now, I say this all the time. The biggest way to triple your sales is to make sure that you're getting higher quality, better clients in your sales conversations, in your DMs, in your content, in your sales events, etc. So if you keep bringing the wrong people into those spaces, then that's why you're going to have lower conversion rates, and you're going to start thinking it's you, it's your prices, all the things, when really it's no, you were targeting the wrong people. So one of the things that I'm looking for as I assess what you have shared with me is actually this. It's one of the biggest mistakes that I see my clients making when they come into working with me, and it's looking at your premium positioning. So when I'm going through your offers, when I'm going through your messaging and the things that you're sharing with me inside of the form, what I often find is that so many of my clients are not actually positioning the real thing that they do. So like, I know you're like, here, well, I'm making sales, I'm getting some people in. I know you're like talking about it, and I know that you're sharing really powerful pieces of your work and you're so passionate about them. But sometimes we think we're sharing something and it's like so big, we're like, oh my God, they can't not do this, they can't not do that, this is on fire. And then you see the results and you're like, oh, I only got 1 or 2 people. I thought I would get 5 or 10. I only got 5. I thought I would get 20 or 50. We don't necessarily get the results we thought we would from it because we get so amped up and excited. And I want to tell you this, the reason why you need someone else assessing for you is because you think that right now you are in a space where you are positioning it really, really powerful. But I'm trying to tell you, if you were to elevate how you're positioning what it is that you're offering, your offers, your message, right? If you were able to position that in a higher level, a higher capacity, you will sign and attract higher level clients, higher caliber clients, higher paying clients, right? At a higher rate, convert higher, right? All the things higher. You know what? Before I keep going, let me show you another client so that you can hear what we had to say about this exact topic. And she also started with this same exact strategy session as well. Talk about implementation. Just asking you, why did you decide that, messaging work was something that you just wanted some support on?
Yeah, so I sell a luxury item. I sell live wedding painting, which is both a service, but it's also definitely a luxury item. And I was increasing my prices to a point that I felt was actually what they were worth. But I was having a hard time because a lot of, moments in that industry are just like, oh, we're on a budget. What is it? What's the cost? And then a lot of people just like hear it and they leave. So I was trying to figure out, how do I position this service and this item in a way that also matches the higher price point of it. And then it just felt really, really good. I felt like, yeah, this is an investment that's worth making. I think it just it was kind of a no-brainer because I know free advice is like one thing, but having someone actually like that you hire and invest in is definitely another.
Back, it's like with messaging, it's like, no, it's so much deeper. Me and in my messaging style, it's really about getting intimate with the client and being able to step into this space where you are able to go beyond price. Like, it's nothing to do with price. It's about the experience. It's about the transformation. It's about who you get to become. It's about what this does for you. And I remember distinctly, like with us like working on your messaging map and everything, like us talking about that. And it's so funny because when people hear the mini messaging session, they're like, there's no way we're going to sit down for that short amount of time and get that much in. Like, I can't believe it. But I want to ask you, like, how did you feel after your mini messaging session? Because we dived into some sales stuff. We dived into some messaging stuff, which obviously translates into content. And I think we might have touched on like a little bit of your packaging, but we really focused on the sales and the messaging part because like people forget that with sales, it all boils down to messaging. Sales is messaging. And
so one of the best parts of it was like, you gave me a place to just do a full brain dump. So that was really great. I want to point out too, I was on this track and then you affirmed it. Like when I looked at my past clients who had been able to pay what I was asking, it wasn't just about rich people. It wasn't about just like a lot of times when I'm like, I need to sell this higher price point item, someone will be like, well, you just have to find the really rich people. And I always go back to like that ideal client I had who was just like, very much not rich, and I'm not like using that as a judgment, but what I'm saying is that she prioritized it and she valued it. And I'm so grateful to experiencing that with her because it always brought it back to me that it's not about price. So that's what you were just saying. Like, we don't sell on that number. Like, we sell on the value of the thing and why it's important. So you definitely like helped reaffirm that for me. But you helped so I had like an inkling of a thought that was happening, and then you helped me really understand it.
And how to
so
speak
that was great.
Because we can, and how to speak to it. Because it's like, oh, I know that I can sell beyond price, but then how do I with my work? And that's really cool because at this point, I've done hundreds of my messaging intensives and all that. And so it's really cool, like all different industries. It doesn't matter about the industry. It's like being able to help you pinpoint your most powerful and valuable parts and pull it out. So it's like, I know that I think I need to do this, but like on paper, how am I actually like, let me see it. Like, how do I put it together? And it's not like it doesn't exist. It's just like, let me help you extract those things out. And then I'll just help you see how to organize them and let them flow. I know that you're sitting here on YouTube, whether you just discovered me or you've been in my world for a while. You have been soaking up my sales messaging strategies, my sales messaging mindset, all my content. And I love that for you. But listen, information without implementation means nothing. If you are sitting there with you, yourself, and you're watching the videos, you're taking some notes, you're trying things here and there, that is going to be completely different than you being able to leverage what I'm going to share in this video to actually implement. We have to execute. We have to infuse this in the right way, right? I see so many women who are like trying to infuse different things on their own, but the thing is, you're so close to it, you can't see what you're missing. You think you're changing something, but you're actually not. So let's go ahead and dive into the implementation activities, the strategies, the steps that you need to take to infuse this into your messaging now, not later. Because when you step into implementing these sales strategies in the way that I teach them, you are going to be able to multiply your income and your impact. So you just saw my client Gwen's win. We're so excited for her. Go ahead, give her a clap. Go ahead, but I can't wait to celebrate you too, sis. So let's reverse engineer this. Let's talk about where does she start? How does she get through this journey with me? How did we start working together? And this is going to be the very first step I'm inviting you to as well. And remember, this video is all about implementation. So let's go ahead and dive into step number 1. So the very first thing that I want to talk about is we have to assess. That's going to be number 1 for us to implement. When you're going somewhere using a GPS, you have to insert where you are right now in order for it to direct you to where you want to go. So the very first thing we need to do is assess. We need to assess where you are right now. We need to assess your current offer, assess your current messaging, your current client, and go over your goals. You're going to get an email that looks very similar to this. It'll have session with Kierra in the title and the subject line, and you're going to see links to click to schedule your actual session with me. Once you hit the button, you're going to get access to my schedule to go ahead and get our call on the books. So So you're going to see different days, different times. Just make sure that you flip through, identify a day and a time that works for you. It should automatically populate to your time zone. So you're going to select the day and time that works for you. We've had people who've been able to get their sessions in within 24 hours, within 48 hours, like the same week, the next week. We've also had some who've sent me a DM like, hey, I wanted to go ahead and grab this deal because it is a steal. However, I'm going to be traveling for 2 or 3 weeks. Could I book my session out? So you'll see options for this month, next month, even probably until the month after that. So do not worry about getting your session in. You're going to find the day and the time that works the best for you. There's several options. Once you select that time, you're going to get to this intake form. Now, I know you're used to people doing calls with you, asking you some really basic questions, it being a secret sales call. This is a working session. This is a true consulting session where I'm going to be providing you nuggets and tips and tweaks that you could be making to your messaging now, not later. And so you're going to see that these questions are very detailed, but here's the thing. When you get to it, just answer the first 1 or 2 things that come to mind. Okay. So it's asking you, why did you book this call? It's asking you what specific questions you have. Usually we ask for a max of 3, and we're going to get through as much of them as we can. And then there's so many other questions as well, but you're just going to answer those questions, the first 1 or 2 things that pop up for you, so that we can have that to assess. And I'm going to look at those things before our session. This session is meant to really dive into like the very, very key top elements that can tweak and elevate and transform your messaging, right? So you don't need to stress yourself about thinking about 5,000 things for each question, just the first 1 or 2. So here, when we ask you what specific questions or topics or things that you already want feedback on, you probably already have ideas of that. There probably is specific content you want feedback on. There's probably a specific question you have about your messaging, about your offer, about your positioning, about your signature method, about your signature talk, et cetera, et cetera. You're going to put those questions right here, and you want to put the one that's like the most important at the top, because that's going to be like our main focus. And then we'll keep going into the other ones as we have time. But I really, really love to make sure that you actually walk away with real value in these sessions, because it is a true consulting session and feedback session, not just like, let me ask you a bunch of questions and, give you nothing when you leave. So you'll see, what made you want to book this. And now you'll start sharing with me your goals, because those are important for me to understand how you feel about your messaging right now, your content, your current offers, other details about your business model. And then I'll ask you, you'll see below some more questions about your messaging and your positioning. So we're going to go deeper into that, but let me show you something else. So I want you to really take that in, the power of having someone sit down and assess, because you're so close, right? Sometimes you can't see what you don't see. So the very first thing we do when you come into purchasing a session from us, before our actual session, I want to make sure we maximize every minute of our time. So before our session, I'm already working behind the scenes, assessing what it is that you've submitted on your form. That's why it's super important. And you only have to tell me like the first 1 or 2 things that come up to you. You don't need to spend an hour on the form. You literally can spend 10 to 15 minutes and just give me 1 or 2 things that are coming up. I promise you it's enough for us to dive into. I'm so excited. We just finished Gwen's mini messaging session. And let me tell y'all, when people buy this session, they're like, there is no way, Kierra. There's no way in 30 to 40 minutes we're going as deep as we're going. And I'm like, baby, you haven't been in the Shine space then. So I really quick wanted to ask Gwen, how are you feeling after your next level mini messaging session?
Oh my gosh, Kierra, I am so excited. First of all, I feel clear, right? I feel clear around the framework that I'm building. I feel clear around the messaging that we went through. And I'm so excited because now I feel like there's a path forward, and there's hope. And I cannot believe that it was the price that it was. And I cannot believe that we did everything we did in like 40, 45 minutes. Insane. And I'm so appreciative.
Of course. Thank you. Like, I'm like, people, I could do this in my sleep. Like, this is nothing. Like,
I believe it.
Thank you. So once you complete your form, it's on our calendar. You will get a confirmation email. All right. So for the time of our session, you'll see the Zoom link to meet, and we will get on camera. You will be able to sit back. I'm going to be sharing my screen, and I'm going to be taking all the notes for you. And here's what happens. I know you thought this was like basic, but Kierra don't do basic. What happens is you actually get a link to a private client folder, and that is going to have your name, and then you'll see strategy session with me. So in that folder, we're going to have a notes document that we use to take notes in our session. And then also after we meet for our session, you'll have the recording that'll be populated here within about 24 hours of our session, so that you have the replay to watch. Now, let me show you what's actually in the document for the notes. So we hear time and time again that people are like, Kierra, I cannot believe I got through all of that with you. I can't believe you're offering this inside of a strategy session. Y'all, you have people who are trying to give you feedback, who are trying to give you advice, who maybe even want you in their programs. I would love to help you long term, but here's the thing. I'm never going to invite somebody into any part of working with me if I know that I can't help them. And I want to make sure sure that you start getting value from the moment that you start working with me. And you've already gotten value, right? If you're right here in my videos, you've already been getting value. And so everything is about helping you dive deeper into elevating how you're positioning and presenting and packaging your expertise so that you can monetize your expertise more powerfully, more profitably, and more purposefully. And so in order for that to happen, you need to have people really looking at your stuff. I'm so sick of people saying, hey, let's do a strategy call, and like giving you one little basic tip you could have Googled or YouTube. So this is about tailoring the support to you. And so with that being said, this is an example of the document that we create for each and every one of our strategy sessions. So over here on the left, you'll actually see the table of contents. And so I'll just show you some of the core categories and things that we discuss and we talk about. So first and foremost, we'll put like your intentions and your goals, right? What is it that you want to make sure that you get from this session? And those go over here, right? So we'll put those in there. Now, you're answering those questions on the intake form. My team and I make sure that before we have our session, we actually go through your actual answers. And then on the right, I start making notes about, ooh, you know what? Let's tweak that. Let's add that. Have you created this? Have you thought about that? Have you positioned it like this? Here's the value that I'm seeing. Is that something that you're talking about? We start putting in those notes already so that, again, this is a working session when we're together to go through specific things for your business. So right now, go ahead, look at my screen. I'm going to walk you through some of the key sections that we actually assess on our sessions. And so here are some of the key categories that we go through. Keep in mind, this is customized for each client. So sometimes when we get on the call, we see that there's more opportunities with your package, right? And so we may talk more about your business model and your package. Sometimes we see there's more opportunities with you diving deeper into who really is your high ticket premium client. So we may dive into that. Sometimes we see opportunities with your visibility strategy and your overall content marketing, and we're going to dive into that. Sometimes we see some more mindset stuff, and we just need to dive deeper into mindset. And, all of this contributes to your overall positioning and your sales messaging. But in short, the key categories that we go through are your sales model, right? So we go into what is it that you do? And then we go through all of your offers. Now, I'm really big about going through with clients, what are your most powerful and profitable and impactful offers? And so we kind of go through what your top 3 offers in your business model are, and then start going over, what are the key benefits and what are those value languaging elements that you need to make sure that you're adding into them. Another area that we go into, obviously, is your sales messaging, AKA what you say. So you're going to fill out the form. You're going to have an assessment of how you feel about your messaging, what you currently include in your messaging, what might be missing. We'll go through, right? Once I look at everything, I'm saying, okay, I see these 3 things are missing from the messaging, or I see this number 1 thing that's missing from your messaging. And we also break that out into multiple sections. So we talk about, how are you selling your signature method? We talk about your client clarity, like I mentioned, and then we also go through your core content. And so you're actually going to provide a link or 2 of core content that you want to go through and have us actually do a real assessment over, right? And so, like, for example, I was just in my DMs with someone who DM'd me over on Instagram, and we were just chatting a little bit, and I was like, hey, you could totally book this session, and we could certainly rewrite this piece of content together. So that is like an example. You would put like a piece of content. It could be a post, it could be an email, it could be a video, like if you have a short form video, something that's only like a couple minutes long, or if you're very specific on, hey, can we look at this specific 3 minutes of this video, something like that. So those are just some examples, but it's not limited, right? So we're going to look at whatever content you create in your business. There's some other things we're going to do down there, but we're going to save that. We go through like your 3 to 6 month plan. We go through what specific elements of what we've talked about need to be inserted into that, all those good things. All right. What elements are missing from your messaging specifically, et cetera, et cetera. So I don't want to like go through every single thing because that's what we're going to do on the call, but that gives you an example of the key categories that we're going through when we have this session. I can't wait to have this session with you. So if you're ready to elevate your messaging, not just general messaging, I'm talking about sales messaging that actually attracts higher quality clients, not clients you heard Kay say, they don't have to be rich and wealthy. They don't have to have all this money, but they do have to massively value what it is that you sell. I will show you how to transform your messaging into sales messaging, the general messaging you've been using, into sales messaging that allows clients to pre-sell themselves into your offers. They don't come with a bunch of questions. They don't come with a bunch of objections. They don't come with a bunch of excuses. They may have a question or 2, something simple, but they are already pre-sold. They already value what it is that you offer and what you deliver, and they know what you bring to the table. They've been pre-qualified, right? That allows you to spend less time in the sales process and more time in the service of what it is you do and in other areas of your life. It all starts with this sales strategy session. I want to sit down with you and I want to create a customized, personalized, specific to you, I can't say it enough, tailored to you messaging strategy. Y'all are out here getting cookie cutter, mediocre messaging that has you signing some clients and you're showing up, you're checking off the box, you're being visible. But is that visibility truly converting at the level that you desire and you deserve? Are you actually positioning your services, your offers, your thought leadership at the rates that you actually desire and you deserve? So if you want to step away from just information, okay, if you want to step away from just information and you want to step into implementation beyond just getting information here, I love showing up for you here, but boo boo, we have so much fun when I get to dive in and geek out on yourself. I know you're like, here, you geek out on this. I don't. Let me do it for you so you can stay in your zone of geniuses. So it all starts with you booking your personalized messaging session. We're going to come together. We're going to go through very much of the elements that I've talked about here, but specific for you. You have a different client than they do. You have a different audience than they do. You have a different message than they do. You have a different story. You have a different signature method. You are a different person than they are. So this isn't about these other women who've said yes to themselves. This is about you taking this next step to elevate your sales messaging so that you can multiply your impact and your income. And I am so honored and I cannot wait to support you. So grab that link down in the description. Go ahead and book your session. And I'm so sorry. I apologize if we get booked. I can only do so many, y'all. Y'all see how in depth I go? Listen, I can't do but so many. So when you get there, whatever sessions are available, if they're gone and sold out, I'm so sorry, but I would and love to invite you to take fast action and go ahead and grab one right now, because this is not about any timeline of anybody else's. This is about what you know you are here to do. This is about you taking your business and your brand to the next level. It's about you taking your messaging to the next level so that you can support those who you are truly meant to support. The individuals that most value investing in themselves, the individuals that are ready to show up, the individuals that are ready with credit card, with PO, with contract, all the things in hand, those are the individuals who are going to get the best results from working with you. That's why we're all doing this, so that we can truly impact others. We don't impact others by continuing to get the wrong people into our stuff. That doesn't help us and doesn't help them, all right? But what we can do is make sure we do our part to show up as powerfully as we could. So if you're ready to show up more powerfully, more profitably, more purposefully with your premium messaging, your premium sales messaging, I'm ready to support you. And if you need a biz bestie to watch this video so that y'all can be accountabilities together, share this video with a biz bestie, share it with a mastermind sister, share it with an accountability buddy. And I also have another video that will be really, really amazing for you to watch next after you take action and step into implementation, right? It'll actually cover why you should hire a sales messaging strategist, and I'll go through all those things that you should consider inside of that video. So that'll be perfect for you to watch next. Until next time, my love, shine, and success in life, business, and everything in between. Bye, y'all.